This conference will now be recorded.
It is when you watch it. How much you got done?
Well, windows are going in now, so almost weathertight.
Fast.
It's a crazy day.
I saw all the cars over there. Nice. How was it? They're always good. They're always good. Your tray. Yeah, they're so good. I haven't had those in a while either.
Brandy, can I see you after the meeting?
I know.
I got some lumber for you to look at.
I don't work that way.
Actually, you may not.
I know, everyone, no one believes that. That's actually true. You can come check it out. Fact check me.
Is it at your grams?
No, it's Springfield. Obviously.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from June 10th. We had a regular meeting, June 25th. We had a regular work session meeting, and then we had a special meeting on July 1st. And the minutes have all been provided. Can I have a motion to accept all the minutes as one packet?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Darren and Laura, is there discussion? Question?
I sent you 2 emails yesterday. You received them both. About.
Today, I answered you.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, reports. Hello, Louis.
Hi there.
Would you're up on highways first?
So a few things we've been doing. All the roadsides are mowed. We're all done mowing. We ditched and shouldered Lenny Preston Road. Our sand is all hauled for to the shop for the winter. We also started ditching and grading Hazelton Cemetery. We're doing that in between jobs. So, and my plan is also to take all the road millings we got from 86 and use them for Hazelton Cemetery and Bonneview Cemetery. And we're also building drop inlets, forms for them, and we're going to cross over water to each side of the Hazelton Cemetery, get it off the hills into the ditches. So we're building those right now. We got 4 of those. We'll be installing them within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. And then, like I said, too, we're going to use the road millings on Bonneview Cemetery too. And I also got permission to patch Springfield Road from Essex County with actual blacktop. Fix a lot of the holes, which we'll be doing tomorrow. And then that's pretty much what we've been doing all summer. And vehicle maintenance.
Any questions from the board?
Good.
Nope.
Do they reimburse you for the patchwork?
Yes.
Great, thank
Yep.
you.
Yep, they do equipment and manpower.
Since I've been on the board, I've known that, I'm sure since before I was on the board, Hazelton Cemetery has been an issue.
Yeah.
Do you think that this will solve it, at least for a few years?
Yes.
Okay.
I think this will solve it, definitely. Putting drop inlets in so we can get the water across the dirt roads into the ditches, and then the road millings are going to make it like a blacktop road. So we
And
should fix everything.
I assume that's a fraction of the price of what it would cost to put blacktop down.
Absolutely, we got the road millings for free, so all it is our manpower.
Drop in those are
Yep.
inexpensive.
Yep.
I hadn't known that, I hadn't heard much, if anything, that Bonneview was an issue, but it's an issue too. Bonneview Cemetery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one side that you go up and wash it out a lot of times. Not like Hazelton, but this will solve the whole problem. Make them easier to plow so our trucks aren't digging into the dirt and the mud. In the spring, sometimes they'll close them down to the mud.
Right.
So this will solve all that problem.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. That's great.
Anybody else for Luke? I will ask, so Ed gave us a report. The next is the water department. Ed gave us his written report for the amount of gallons produced, which is 3,572,000 gallons on Water District 1. The gallons to Whiteface for 42,800. The daily average is 162,400, and the daily average at Whiteface was 1,500. He's been working on the stone base around tank 1. He pointed out, I went up and looked at, there's some cracks that need to be repaired. He's been in contact with a mason who's under contract. We're going to piggyback with the county, and he's asked me to help him get the attention of the county so that the person comes up and responds and starts to do those repairs. Years ago when they put in metal fencing, they had to drive the fence into the concrete in that area. It's been weakened and it's been patched before, but it's on his radar, and he asked me today to assist in getting the attention of the county piggyback. Otherwise, we'd have to send it out to bid, and we might be up for prevailing wage and all that other stuff that gets complicated. So that was what Ed told me today. Also, I have a feeling that the gallons produced in Water District 1 is going to go up now that the KOA is open. So it should be interesting watching the difference between this, if this is a monthly report, which I assume it is, and the next monthly report. But that's the report from Ed. Parks is excused.
I've got a question for Darren about the water report, just a general question. I think last month or maybe the month before, his report said that he cleaned the Red Brook Reservoir, which I know that exists, but can you just tell us where it is?
So the White Brook Reservoir is what the town normally operates. When you drive up the Reservoir Road, that's the one that has the big fence in front of it. That's like the premier brook that comes off the mountain. It's crystal clear. Red Brook comes a little bit more from the Santa's Workshop area side. So if you drive up past the water plant and continue past the water plant, there's another brook with a small dirt reservoir. It does not have a lined concrete area or anything. And that is the Red Brook Reservoir. That's our backup reservoir. And typically the water out of that one's not nearly as clean, so we're usually only on that one for just a couple weeks a year, only while White Brook is being cleaned.
Okay. I didn't know we used it ever. I thought it was just for emergency or drought type situation.
No, only when he cleans White Brook. Other than that, it's pretty much only for an emergency.
How do you get to that reservoir?
You literally just drive past the water plant,
Okay.
and it's a little dirt road. It's only like maybe 200 feet past the water plant there.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Next is Doug's report. Doug's report is his 5 new building permits issued in the month of June, collected $2,058 in fees. He's got 55 open permits, and he did 20 plus site visits. Right now, for the short-term rental update, he has active permits 150. On the wait list is 2 complete, 3 incomplete applications. So we have basically 105 people sort of in the queue to for the short-term rental permits. The fees collected for year to date is $26,000. Now, if I can interrupt for just a second, our operating statement, I sat down, I gave you a copy of some notes that I took with Doug today. So it's this one right here with my handwritten notes on it. It's an email from Doug. Because our operating statement shows that we have received this year about $6,000 more than what Doug reports. So it shows the STR fees at $32,250. So I've asked Doug to help me see. The way it gets reported is it goes from Doug to blah, blah, blah. So there's at least 2 or 3 steps between the time that Doug produces it and the time it gets recorded on our general ledger. And so what I'd asked Doug to do is help us estimate what we would expect in the receipts for the remainder of the year. Because we budgeted $45,000 in receipts, and if we've received $26,000 so far, how many more permit fees need to be paid before the end of the year, and are we within what we budgeted? And so Doug is, according to my notes there, whatever the hell that is.
Looks like he's estimating 52,000.
Yeah.
And we budgeted 45.
That's right. So he's expecting another 25,500 in receipts for the 60 permits that are due this year. And so I $52,500 is what we would expect in revenue. But I will do my best to figure out why the operating statement is different, and we'll have to issue a correction at some point. So that's the Doug report. Any questions that I might be able to answer for that?
So we're short?
No,
No,
Okay.
we're on track over, hopefully.
it's just the difference is that we looked like we were way on track at 32,000. Doug's number says it's 26. I have to figure it out.
Well, basically, he said in here, he wrote this, it's kind of because some of the payments came in 25, even though they were 24 permits.
We talked. I'll come back to the board with if it's we don't use accrual accounting, which means we would book it in the year that it was due. We use more or less a cash basis accounting, which we take it the year that we actually collect it. And I just want to make sure I have that clarified. So anyway, but we're still looking good in either case. So that's the
But for next year, she can do that with the new enhanced, she can book it back.
exactly. So that's the codes report. Dog control, he was going to come, but he's not feeling well. He has part of the inside the abstract of invoices as a request for reimbursement for the town of Jay. He's been trained. He went to a special training for dog control officers. There's another person in the town of Jay who's also sort of our backup in case Trevor can't do it. So the two of them went. Jay paid the bill. They sent us a reimbursement request for 1/2, and that's in there. The other thing that Jay has worked on and we are going to adopt is he's simplified the dog complaint form. There's basically 2 areas of statute that the old form sort of gets complicated. So he eliminated one statute, which we rarely use, and focused it on Article 7, the dangerous dog statute. And then he followed our leash code to create a set of criteria in this. So I'll get it to the board at some point and we'll adopt it. But Jay's adopting that one as well. And so we're going to keep this kind of uniform. He gave me a copy of a dog complaint form that seems pretty simplified, and that too will be presented to the board. He gave that to me at the end of last week, thinking he could come here today and talk about it, but nobody didn't feel well. So I saw him. I said, okay. Any questions about the dog control? Okay, very good.
Oh, yeah, is it a yearly training or is it a one-time training?
Good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's, let's see, the Ag and Markets representative up here is a woman named Janet Collier. And she checks in on them, and she has meetings either down at the Public Safety Building or the DPW in Lewis. And he's a faithful, he trains, he goes to these things. He likes doing it. And I'm like, okay. So far, we haven't, one of the things we're doing tonight is a budget amendment to shift out of the contract expenses, the amount that we would be paying him under PS. So we really haven't had, knock on wood, it could get worse if we have a slew of dangerous dogs. But right now, we've managed to, get through the year under budget under the circumstances, and that's okay. You want to turn that off? Go ahead. You got it. Thank you. Any other question about dog control? Okay. Board reports, Tim.
Okay, so the youth program, or whatever we want to call it, has kind of dominated the board's attention for the past 2 weeks. As I was preparing for the meeting today and reviewing old papers, I'm afraid we've all made a mistake and missed that according to this document Amy gave us, it's 9 kids that are the younger kids who want to participate. So if that's the case, and if the limit is 9, then we could have a program with 2 counselors for the 9 younger kids, 9 Wilmington kids. There's a handful of kids whose connection to Wilmington is more tenuous, and they're listed at the bottom. But the kids who are full-time Wilmington residents, it's only 9 young kids. So I think that would be great for those kids, for the town, for the youth committee, for all concerned to staff it up. And obviously we've missed a week, maybe we can go an extra week. And obviously we've probably lost some kids at this point because they've made other plans. So
why wasn't this brought up at our
I was
meeting?
gonna say,
the other
everyone
night?
missed it.
Oh,
I mean, I missed it.
Well, why wouldn't Amy have brought this up?
Amy never brought it up at the meeting. the other
Amy
night.
missed it. I mean, everyone missed it.
We had the whole meeting and they talked about
I don't know why Amy
this,
missed it.
and
I-
nobody said anything about these children. Nobody said anything about what we had. We discussed what we had for children, what the ages were, where they were coming from, and we all agreed that we wanted something for the children. We had to have something for the children in the town and what we were going to do. And we all agreed on what we were going to do. Their board was there. We were there. The 3 of us were there. We all attended the meeting. She said she had already talked to all the parents and told the parents there wasn't going to be a program as far as she knew. I'm not quite sure.
That's from Amy.
Well, like I said,
And that's the number, we thought there were 21 kids, Wilmington kids, and then 4 or 5 other kids who are.
Well, there is in total. It's basically we're leaving every kid over 9 years old out.
Well, the reason that really prompted me, another reason that prompted me to bring this up is there's been complete confusion about the cutoff. I mean, the idea is now that we will be truly leaving the younger kids out because we'll be prohibiting them from the youth center. And I wish there was a committee member here because I'm just paraphrasing what I'm getting from their emails, but they're not pleased, and that wasn't their understanding of what was going to happen.
And I understand that completely, but I have brought this up several times over the past couple of years to the members when they've been here. We've talked to the youth commission when they've been here, that this was a full application. It would have to be filled out, and it takes months to do it. And I have told them that several times.
We talked about this in June and nobody mentioned the Department of Health. Like Amy was asking about a bus. She was asking about the programming, about getting some people to bring them to Mount Van Hovenberg. Like you and Favor didn't say anything about the Department of Health then.
I didn't because I had brought this up several
I know,
times
but
prior that there was an application. It would have been too late at that point. You can't, this application has to be filled out earlier in the year. I didn't know what they had done for an application because this is an application that I had told them prior, couple years prior and years in prior. We can go back in the tapes to look at this if you'd like. That we have to.
I can't remember any of that
Online.
conversation.
This was even when Roy was here, that you have to fill out the application, you have to start it early because it's a lot of work to be done.
I understand the application, I just don't know why I think Amy's been at quite a few of the meetings. Also, I just want to interject, like, I don't understand the 10 and up. Like, that wasn't what we discussed at the special
This
meeting.
was discussed at the youth commission meeting the other night when they were discussing it back and forth of what they were going to have for children. It was discussed afterwards that this was going to end up being, because there was no way that the Department of Health was going to approve a youth commission,
A camp.
a camp.
Right, so just for the public, I think that this conversation is very confusing. Apparently, if it's going to be more than 9 kids, it needs to be classified as a camp, which requires a lot more paperwork. And so that's what has created this problem and obstacle.
But a youth center, apparently in the past, from what I was told up there the other night, it's always been 10 to 17. And Marjorie had said that at 17, they had always cut it off because at 18,
You're an adult
you're an adult.
legally. Yeah.
So that's how they always did that. I guess that was the rules in the past, that was the ages that was set for the youth center.
So how does
So
the Department
that's-
of Health get involved in that ages?
The Department of Health didn't get involved in those ages,
Okay.
but they were talking about most parents are not going to drop off a 5-year-old that is responsible to be taken care of, just dropped off and picked up. Because if you're going to open that as a youth center, you are not responsible for that child's coming and going. You're not going to be feeding them. You're not going to be, they're there, you're watching what's happening in the day-to-day activity around there and all that. But you are not, if that child wants to leave, you're not responsible for that child. So we were talking about if you're not responsible and somebody is, and we can't guarantee there's not going to be a person drops off a 5-year-old child. I'm not comfortable having a 5-year-old child dropped off and then just wander away. So that's when we said, well, we'd like to set the age a little bit higher for the liability purposes of the town.
Now, the question is, they came and talked to us about it. I mean, I obviously didn't think it was a problem because I thought we were going out, and I interviewed and looked for 3 camp counselors. I discussed trips to Van Hovelberg. I was not under some nothing triggered in my head that we would need to do a full camp application or what the Department of Health might require. What just happened was we asked Amy for the list. She sent it to us in an email. We got the list. I went on to the Camp Placid website to say, okay, what is it that we're going to need to do? And then I realized from them that Department of Health approval was going to be required. I'm not expecting people to be 100% accurate on everything, but I'm not here to do the thinking for everybody.
No, it sounds like Tina knew it all along.
But I'm just.
I mean, it wasn't on my radar. I mean.
That's what I'm saying. So we were facing with this stuff. It should have maybe triggered somebody to say, wait a minute, we got too many kids. So I'm not going to revisit this to some extent, but my suggestion at the last meeting was we somehow draw a 9 out of a hat and tell the rest sorry. We don't have any real principled way of determining which kids should qualify or which kids couldn't. We would look like we're practicing nepotism if we start picking employee kids. And so, or we just, say, sorry, we'll start again next year. And then the board went up with the youth center idea, which was, because that alternative was not palatable. So anyway, we're still here. And, let's get the youth center going and see who gets dropped off and see if we can get that thing working well. That's my opinion.
I'm fine with the youth center. The only thing I think is it should probably be maybe 8 years old rather than 10, just
I
to
just don't know if there's
try to pick up do more of the kids. I mean, I agree, a 5-year-old probably is not going to be, then it's literally a daycare, but I mean, and their parents, being that most parents know their kids, and if their kids aren't responsible, they're not going to leave a 5-year-old there because it's not a day camp. We're not responsible for them, but.
Right. Any kid could walk off from any, the youth commission in Lake Placid, kids could walk off. It's a huge, when it was on the oval, there was no, honestly, I don't know. I think that's a little.
Is there?
11 years old is third grade, which they're usually fairly able to do stuff on their own by third grade.
What's the New York State latchkey age?
Don't know. You'd have to look it up.
We can have them sign in and sign out.
See, did you have that
The
paper Amy
parents
gave
could
us?
sign- I would assume the parents or guardians would be signing them in and signing them out.
So I'm sensing there's no support for.
I would do the group of 9. But I don't know how many people we've hired. It said 2, somewhere said 2. I thought there were 3. I don't know who's on first at this point, to be honest with you.
We're already the 8th of July here, and now we're trying to start a program. Like, we're way behind the 8 ball to try to start a program when it was supposed to start yesterday or today, and now we're still trying to figure out and start a program again. I just feel like this year we're way behind the 8 ball to do that.
And Amy's already talked to the library and told them that they're not having the program.
Right, Amy's,
So the library's going to start a program, try and start a program, or looking to start a program for the children.
that's great.
Just for the children to come, but. So I'm a little confused as to if Amy's already told them that the kids aren't coming.
Yep.
Which
No, I
direction are we
noticed
going
this
in?
today, so that's why I'm bringing this up now.
Okay. All right, so no action.
I'm just wondering, do we still have those children?
Who knows?
Still.
Yeah, it's still Tim's report.
Okay, zoning amendment, should we talk about that during old business or should we talk about that now? I'm perfectly happy either way.
We don't have any old business. Go ahead and talk about what you want to say.
Okay, Favor, you gave us a document basically taking the amendments. I'm not sure what the document you gave us is. So can we talk about that? Hard for me to parse.
Whenever people are amending contracts and they've decided to add clauses, subtract clauses, amend clauses, they typically take the new language and try to import it into their old document. What I did was I took your language from that sheet, which said local law changes. I went and tried to find the relevant section of the ordinance where it would go. And I sort of would put that, cut and paste that into a section where it seemed to be relevant. I also added my own suggestions because the phrasing on some of the clauses proposed are mandatory as opposed to discretionary. And the code always gave the board, planning board or zoning board of appeal, discretion to make a finding that would deny a permit based on these criteria. But it wouldn't be mandatory because of some thing without first connecting it to a comprehensive plan or the local waterfront revitalization plan. To me, if you hand me a piece of paper and it says, I think we should add, 5B here. It doesn't tell me exactly, show me where it is in the document that you're proposing to put it. So that's what I did.
Okay, to me, that, I would have thought that would be the last thing that would have been done after we passed the local law. It would be incorporated into the present zoning code.
How? By whom?
By the law firm we retain.
No, we're the law writers. We are the ones who pass it. We would give it to the lawyers to add them, they would charge us, and then it'd come back and we'd have to approve it as law. It's what it is that we approve, is the law part. So to me, I'm just thinking, why should we pass it first and then let somebody else clean it up? Let's make sure the law part fits and it's coherent and it follows the regular ordinance in the right spot.
How would we pass this as a local law?
We're not passing it as a local law yet. We're fitting it into where your proposed changes are going, whether we think there's, how they fit in with the rest of that particular part of the code. There are a couple that I didn't know where the hell to put it. How do you numbering this one? Because it didn't seem to fit on the list that was left at the bottom. There was one I did that. I didn't bring it with me, and we could discuss it for a little bit here, but you want to put it on the agenda, we can put it on the agenda.
Didn't I ask for it to be put on the agenda? When for this meeting?
Oh, pardon me. Go ahead and talk to it.
Kramer, do you want mine to look at?
No. No, it's the one I wrote.
I haven't. I thought this was. No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, none of the rest of us have it, so it's fine.
I will say that I'm the dumpster, the last proposed amendment. To me, that's the least important, and in the interest of trying to make any progress on this before the end of my term, I'll waive that. To me, that's the least important one. So I'm just wondering what the path forward is here, because we've been talking about this almost since the beginning of the year, and I'm not sure if we're going to make any progress. I'm trying, and you have to have optimism, but I'm not sure where we're going at this point.
When did I send that out to the board?
When?
Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah, at least a month ago.
My comments, and we're gonna sit here and have a discussion about it. We could have, I send out things all the time, and there's been no comment, like, oh dear, can we have a little special session to work on this stuff? We could do that stuff.
Okay, let's have a special session to work on this.
All right, we'll schedule something.
Before the end of this month.
No.
2 board members can call a special session. So if you're not.
He did bring this up at last meeting. You said it needed to be added to the agenda.
Oh, we've had three meetings in the past couple of weeks, and it's all about the youth center. So, we'll keep going forward. All right. So you want to make a motion for a special?
Yes. Yes.
Second.
Okay. So discussion.
Yes. Could you make copies of that? Mine is not in my bundle here. Could you make copies of that?
Definitely.
And then we can all if we're gonna have a special meeting, we should use that as a working document and then try to go from there.
Go ahead.
Before we schedule special meetings again, and we've talked about this probably 20 times over the past 2 to 4 years, it always loses traction. So before we schedule special meetings, everything else, do we even have support to move any of these things forward? Because if we don't have support to move them forward, and we feel like other things are more important or we need to focus our attention in other areas, then I feel like we should discuss that before we have a special meeting on something that may not move forward anyway.
I do think we have support. We had the planning and zoning boards both submit their suggestions.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that it has town board support.
I know that.
So
I didn't-
until we vote on it, we don't know if it has support.
There's community support for them. I didn't know it had to be town board support.
To make it law, it absolutely has to be.
No,
So
I'm saying to have, okay, I see where it's going.
you see where it's going. I'm simply saying that if we're not going to approve it as a town board,
This is
then
what
why have a
is
special
going-
meeting on it?
I see what is happening. I see where you're going. That's what I'm saying.
I don't disagree with you, honestly.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. That's totally right.
The fact that this is where we are after, let's say, 6 months, indicates to me that there's certainly 2 board members who support these amendments, and I'm not sure there's a third. So
What I supported was a process. It's a drafting process. It's not us to sit there and have meetings and to vote up and down on whether we think this is a great idea. I think the whole idea was that they would act as a committee, they would make their findings, they would report back to us. They voted for it up and down. They didn't have much of a discussion about it, saying that this particular document is what we recommend that you do. Okay, well, okay. So here comes the document. I take the document, I work on it, I add to it, I add my suggestions, and I give it to you a month or so ago. And then I'm sort of being set up to be Mr. Roadblock here.
No.
But
no, that's not.
okay, but then work on it and report, give us something back besides having discussions on it.
That's why I brought it up, because we're meeting, this is a town board meeting, and the document you gave me was, to me, confusing. So that's why I brought it up.
We have a motion, we have a second to do a special meeting. So let's go over the draft, we'll set up a special meeting, and then that'll be our decision on what we're gonna do.
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
I would vote for that, yeah. Obviously, since I made the motion for the special meeting, I'll vote for it.
And then after that, it'll be the decision on what we do.
This comment, I'm sure, will be somewhat controversial, but I also feel like that the zoning and planning boards did not have any input in those things at all. They were presented a document by a board member and said, what do you guys think with this? Do you think this is a good idea? They all said yes, yes, yes.
No. They offered.
What do you mean? They were all Tim's ideas. They were presented to them and they said, yes, we support these ideas.
No, they didn't.
And then it was handed back to the
No,
board.
they didn't. They offered, if you check your email, you'll see correspondence of edit suggestions, also from the zoning board. That's not a true statement. They did
That's
offer
pretty
that.
much exactly
No,
the way
that
Tim
is
presented
not.
them to us.
Absolutely not.
I didn't see any changes.
Okay,
They approved them, but they weren't a rubber stamp.
No.
There was conversation and deliberation.
But what changed on them?
Nothing changed, but
Well, there's my point. All right.
So they're a rubber stamp, and they can't just agree with something that I presented.
I'm just saying that if nothing was changed, how much really discussion there was, because we've looked at it 3 times and every one of us had things that we wanted to change. So I find it kind of odd that we had 2 boards and not one change, but as soon as it gets to the town board, we find all types of changes. It just seems very strange to me.
Well, I think there's a lot more support for these in the community than there may be on the town board. And that may be reflected by the planning board's decision.
well, being against the town board. No, I mean, the planning board right now are going through lots of changes with regard to whether you should have a farmyard next to people and things like that. I mean, that's kind of the process I think is the right way to go, where they're having discussions and debate about whether should we go as hard as they did in Elizabethtown and things like that. That's fine. We'll send out a special session date and time.
But we have to vote on this.
Yep, go ahead. Vote. All those in favor?
I just asked that it be, if not this calendar month, sometime within the next 30 days or so, rather than,
Appreciate it.
so I would like to add that to the motion.
Okay.
Next 30
This
days,
isn't
so-
money, so I don't need.
No, it's all those in favor?
Yes,
Aye.
No.
okay,
She's an aye, so it's 4-1. Go ahead.
okay. The exemptions, this,
Where were you?
I said aye.
You said yes.
senior citizen property tax exemptions. I did favor, you gave us, several documents. One that, lays out what the other towns in the county do.
Mhm.
The last time we discussed this, Darren made the point, and that's a point I've heard before, and it's a point I agree with, that yes, we do want to help the seniors of modest means. However, when we cut their taxes, that shifts the taxes onto, for example, young families. So rather than going up to the maximum that the law allows, maybe we should just go up $10,000. I plugged in that number and compared it to our current exemption and what the other towns in the county do. It looks like if we just shifted our maximum income limit up $5,000, we wouldn't be the highest in the county, but we would be on the high end of the other towns in the county, probably in the top 20% of the higher exemptions. So I'd like to bring that idea up. If we went the full 10,000 that we talked about last time, we still at that point wouldn't be the highest in the county, but we would be the second highest after Willsboro. Yeah, we would be even higher than North Elba. The only town allowing a higher income limit would be Willsboro. So bringing that up, offering it for discussion, and I hope we can pass that at the next meeting. Food for thought.
Would you see, one of the things that I included in that draft is the table of the ranges and what the discount rates would be if you could create a new table
Okay, yep,
and forward
I can do that, yes.
because I'm more or less understand part of it, but it affects the whole table.
Yes.
Would that be removing the social security caveat?
It would be.
Okay, I agree with the 10,000. I mean, I think that was,
And you want to go up to 10,000? I mean, I can get on board with that too. I thought, like I said, if we went 10,000, we would be second highest in the county. If we went 5,000, if we increased by 5,000, we'd still be one of the higher towns, but not the second highest.
I'm fine with the 5.
I think that would take a lot of the heat off of Devin as well, having to do, figure out the social security component and,
Yep, the extra math.
yeah.
Okay, so if you would type it up either way, to do a 10 and then do a 5 and what the range is, and then we can subtract out the social security language part, and then we can look at it.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. The seal coating we did for the basketball court and the tennis court, do we need to make sure that that's paid for by BedTex, do we need to procedurally pass some sort of motion that comes from budget amendment?
We'll have to do a budget amendment. We're going to have a few budget amendments going forward. Yeah, so that one, see, the Parks Department, well, go ahead with your report.
No, I'd like to discuss it and try to get clarity because.
So the Parks Department is nearly always over budget in terms of its, where that's. So the Parks Department's over budget with its buildings thing almost every year. So you have the buildings and then the Parks CE. And so we're going to end up, so the Parks CE, right, it's $15,000. Well, we blow through that. So at some point, we'll have to make an amendment to balance it, and some of those funds will be protected.
Okay, I just, in the past, we've, discussed these types of things and passed them, and then they've been forgotten about. So I just trying to make sure it doesn't get forgotten about. The tennis court trees, we got the quote. John gave us a quote. I think that nothing has, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anything's happened since we received that quote.
That's right. Yeah, and it hasn't come and cut down the trees.
Did we accept the quote?
Well, he took the lowest quote. We had two sets of quotes. We had one from Precision Tree, and then we had another one from Jim Kelly.
Mhm.
Jim Kelly's was $600 less. So we have to go with the lower quote.
I didn't think that we had actually accepted it, though. Do we need to accept it?
It's already happened.
Has it already happened?
No, he hasn't cut, the tree's still there.
We probably should.
Well, I mean, John's not here. I'd like to talk to
Okay,
John
do it.
about what his,
Okay.
his interactions with Jim have been and how that's going before I approve it.
I do have a thought related to that. There's a property owner who owns adjoining the park who has trees she's concerned about. We believe it's on town property. And I wonder if we should, and it's actually close to the tennis court, I wonder if we should do both at the same time.
Well, we do have a quote from Precision Tree. John went and got that quote. It was for both. We discussed that before, which is I would like to, once we sort of approved it on the condition that, we didn't get other lower bids. We'd gone out and done our due diligence and tried to find other quotes. And so John went out and called around for other quotes, hence the $400 for the tree at the tennis court. But we haven't really executed on the one that borders the neighboring property. And my idea was if we're accepting Precision Tree a quote, they would just drop it. We would probably dispose of it. And then I would like to set up an agreement with the owner of the property to clarify whose responsibility it is for the tree. And that nobody in the future will say, you came on my property and cut down the wrong tree kind of stuff. So the town was covered.
I guess I'm confused of what's happened here. You just said something about Jim was $600 less. What? He didn't bid, like they didn't bid the same trees?
No,
I don't understand what's.
Jim had given him, John a quote. John called around after we discussed the Precision Trees, got Jim on the phone about it. Jim said, I will cut down that tree again. I said I would do it for $600, whatever it is. And then I'm not sure. And Jim came in to talk to me about something when I was interviewing the youth center people. And so I haven't really run into him, and I don't know what he wants to talk to me about. John, it's
So we don't really have two sets of quotes in writing, is basically what you're saying.
exactly.
Perfect, okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
We can't really make a resolution.
We're talking about the ones on the adjoining property line, not the tennis court, or we're talking about,
Both sets.
we have two quotes for the tennis court, but not for the,
Yeah, but we don't have a written one for the tennis court from Jim, I don't think. Or at least I'm not aware of one.
okay. I'll try and follow up with John about all of this. And as far as the agreement with the neighboring property owner, should she contact you? Is that the best?
But what happens is once we've decided that we've done our best to get a quote for that property, then we could authorize him to come take it down.
You want her to sign something though, right?
Well, I just want, rather than paying for a surveyor to come and actually set the line,
Yep, I think it makes sense.
we just have an agreement where the town agrees that we're going to take down the tree, we're going to keep, insured and things like that, and then the property owner is going to hold us harmless from any claim they may have against us cutting down the wrong tree, something like that.
Mhm.
That's basically the idea.
So I'll ask John, I'll follow up with John about both of these things.
Great.
The Visitors Bureau, I understand that Colin's resignation has been accepted. I was hoping someone from the Visitors Bureau would be here to tell us what is happening.
Okay.
You go to those, does anyone know what is happening?
They will be, they have a part-time person that's gonna work Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think, 10 to 2. And then they have another person that's gonna work on Saturdays. They should have a new employee starting in a couple weeks.
To do the director position?
Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
I can't say it. I know
That's it.
about the same as what Tina did, and I have been directed not to release any names yet because they have not signed a contract.
Okay.
But they
Okay.
do have somebody that they've hired, and right now they're staffing the office part-time. But like I said, they haven't officially been hired because there's no contracts. They've had an interview when they've agreed on somebody, but that person has not signed a contract yet to officially say they took the job. So the name hasn't been released because of that.
Okay. I was disappointed to see Colin go, and I realized I forgot when we were talking about the youth. I would like it if we could just pass a quick resolution expressing our appreciation to the members of the youth committee for all they've done. I think that probably been a frustrating few weeks for them, and I think the town board should just do a quick thing and to show that a gesture that we do appreciate all that they do.
And I did thank them the other night. They do. And I thank them for all the work they do. And we do appreciate what they do.
Yeah, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The Board of Assessment Review, just to make sure I understand correctly, that is a paid position?
Yes.
Okay. Repeating myself, we're looking for 2 members of the Board of Assessment Review. Small crowd tonight, so I don't think I'm going to make any progress on this. And 1 assessor. And then finally, I'm just going to make a motion that we adopt a facilities use fee of $100 across the board, even plus 1/2 of the cost of any town labor that the organization needs. I feel $100 is extremely modest. It will add up over time. It's a starting point, and then the being reimbursed for the town employees' labor is important because, the Parks Department is. There have been so many things that have been put on the back burner over the years because the Parks Department is spending more than 300 hours a summer on events. And he's happy to do it, they're happy to do it, but maybe if the organizations that rely so heavily on the Parks Department were expected to defray part of that cost, maybe they would find more volunteers or other ways to operate and create these events. So I'm just going to make that motion that we create that. We can use the same form that we have that I don't think was ever implemented, but just add.
Before we get another one,
Yeah.
unanimous on the youth commission. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay. Keep going. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to say. I think it seems bizarre that we wouldn't charge anything, and $100 is very low, and it's a step in the right direction to help the taxpayers, and I'd like to take that step.
God bless them if they can find some volunteers.
That's true.
God
I
bless
know.
them if they can do that.
Well, they do have, some of these organizations do have, the Historical Society does seem to have a robust core of volunteers, and others, they make a lot of money on these events, other
So you're
organizations.
saying $100 use fee?
Yes.
I'll second. so
Now
we
is
can
that
discuss.
for, are we talking just,
Discussion,
Thanks.
okay,
Yep.
are we talking the, just Preston Field, or are we talking all events, or what are we talking?
For profit event, like
Let's
things that are,
outline what we're
things
talking
that-
about before we,
But things that are either fundraisers.
Yeah.
Or that require town labor.
And that's what you want written, fundraisers and things that
Events
require
that-
town labor.
Yes.
not things that are just like Like, I think we had at one point talked about like birthday parties and, that's kind of thing, like private things, like the town get together, those things would not be charged because they're not raising money.
But you can't use the word nonprofit
I
because
didn't-
the other ones are nonprofit.
No,
I
I'm
don't
saying
mean,
fundraising events, events that
Right.
charge admission or
Fundraising
have
and
some
town labor.
fundraising component.
Like I've said before, I believe that Wilmington has always been a tourism-based town, and I feel we have a certain obligation to provide services to keep this a tourism-based town, since that's basically our only industry in town.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? This is a money one. We'll have to do roll call, please.
You know, I take your point there, and I just think that $100 is so modest, and it's a starting point. You know, we can reevaluate, but it's a gesture of good faith from these organizations that get so much from the town. It's a gesture of goodwill to the taxpayers. I don't think it's much to ask.
Okay, roll call vote. Tim?
Yes.
Darren?
No,
Laura, yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Pepper?
No.
3 yeses, 2 noes. Carried.
Cool.
Okay, that's my overall report. Thank you.
Darren?
well, since that just passed, I'm assuming you're gonna be coming up with some type of schedule for that, Tim, because right now we have nothing. We're just gonna charge willy-nilly $100. So I think that was passed extremely prematurely, and I don't think it was thought about at all, because we have no form, we have no organizations, we have no discussion about it. We literally just passed a law to charge people, and we don't even know who we're charging. This is the
No,
problem
that's
with
not-
doing, it is, because we literally just came up with the thing and said, we're charging organizations. Does that mean that we are charging the Visitors Bureau? We're not charging the Visitors Bureau. Because other times we've said that we weren't never charging them. We've had all types of exceptions in there before. The last time said that was a place that we weren't charging. Now are we charging them? Are we not? We just passed the law and we have no clarification whatsoever. It's the most ridiculous type of resolution that I've ever seen when we have no clarification on stuff. And when the town board does stuff like that, we're being very irresponsible. That's my comment on that. Now I'll move on to the rest of my report. So we did have our Music Fest meeting today. I brought it up at the last meeting. Still looking for clarification whether the town board is going to pay for the porta potties like they have every other year. If not, that's fine. We'll add that to the $100 fee that the town board is now charging for all events in town. But we just,
Sorry.
I have no problem. I mean, you know what? I've been on this board for 18 years. People can cough out there and they can scoff. But as for as many people that make comments like that, there's people in the opposite direction and say, you know what? 20 years ago, when we were begging for events to happen in this town and we couldn't get people to come, now when we actually have stuff going on, let's charge them, because we should have, we need to make sure that they feel welcome in this town by, charging $100 and stuff like that. So you can say, oh my God, and it can be directed at me, that's fine. But I'm just letting you know, 20 years ago, when I worked for the town of Wilmington, people were begging for events to come to this town. And since I've been on the board and when Randy was here, we've worked very hard to have events here. And now since we actually have events here, to basically say, you know what? Well, you're doing very good for this town. How about we charge you for our help? So I'd like a resolution to be able to pay for the porta potties for that event.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
These events, they do have a cost to the taxpayers, and that cost is not trivial. And some of these costs are hidden. The town board spent, and it was never discussed or approved, thousands of dollars to install a new breaker box at the town park for events. And that's the labor alone is $8,000, and that's labor alone. That's not electricity, garbage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes, most people like events. The Parks Department likes events. The events are overall positive. However, they do create costs for the taxpayers. And those costs are not, they're not nothing. They're not trivial. So that should be recognized, and we should try to help the taxpayers as well.
Any other discussion?
I can create the form. We have had forms that have been discussed before they're implemented. We could look at that as, a jumping off point as well.
Because we did have a form before we were looking at for when we were talking about charging earlier.
I drafted 3 of them last year.
We had a form that we were looking at.
And we could never
And-
agree on who was gonna be charged, so
Well,
it
we
was never
couldn't have
passed.
them, but I think right now we just decided that it was going to be, everybody $100 straight
Right,
across the
can
board.
I'm gonna,
And half of the town labor.
please, wait a minute. We have a motion, we have a second. We're talking about the Porta Johns for the event.
Okay.
Any further discussion about the Porta Johns, please?
We don't have a concrete, do we have a document, how much money are we talking about?
It was in the neighborhood of $1,500 last year, Mike Graff favored through
Yeah.
his lawyers.
How many you got, 10?
9, I think there is.
I think they're $150 or $165 a quarter, John.
So we can, not to exceed $1,500 as a motion.
And this is a Visitors Bureau event.
Yes.
Okay. Right, and just so the public knows and the board, the town labor last year was roughly about 2,600. I have their timesheets here, but I'm not going to look it up, but I believe it was 2,600 in town labor.
Well, this year, because the town board does not support any events in town, including
That's false.
the Historical Society, we're basically asking only for the town labor to help set up tents. We actually have a dumpster company coming to take away all the trash. We have a volunteer list of probably 30 people that are going to be help putting this on because they think it's a great event for town. And basically, because the town board continues to cause issues and create controversies like this, basically this event through the Visitors Bureau is one that they choose not to ask the town for any help, because they feel like anytime they ask for help from the town, they basically say it's not welcomed.
Well, except for the $14,000 direct subsidy in the free building, right? But we don't get a lot
Actually,
of- we don't get a lot of appreciation.
The $14,000 direct subsidy that you keep talking about is actually a signed marketing contract with the town of Wilmington. It is not a direct subsidy. They have a marketing contract that's signed with the town of Wilmington, and it outlines how they're going to market the town of Wilmington, how they're going to staff the building. So when you say direct subsidy, you're, again, very false, because it's actually a marketing contract that we sign with them.
The false thing is to pretend anything other than the fact that this was discussed for less than 8 minutes and shoved through on a 3-2 vote. So
Wait a minute, we haven't,
Okay, we need a roll call vote for the porta potties.
exactly.
the town does support the events significantly, always has, nothing against the events. I'm also trying to support the taxpayers, and that should not be controversial.
Tim,
No, hold on for a second, before we call the roll call, let me say this. All of the events, the Porta Johns, the extra cost can be allocated to bed tax money. Okay, that is not necessarily coming out of the taxpayers. Those are conditioned and reserve funds. I met with the county manager today, and my idea for the proposed budget is next year, we're going to create an events line from which some of John's wages will be paid, which will reduce the park department general fund stuff. We will fund it from bed tax money. And if we can use it as an ongoing operating expense, we do not necessarily need it as a capital expense or a capital reserve. I talked about it with the chairman of the Board of Supervisors on Monday and with the county manager. So I think it's kind of unfair to say that this $1,500 is coming from the taxpayers when it's not coming from the taxpayers. It's coming from the nice people who want to come and stay here, and they pay 5% on their hotel and STRs for coming up here and enjoying our beauties and scenery. So that's the people who are going to be paying for this stuff. Roll call vote, please.
Okay,
Can I say a favor? That's fair.
But
Nothing you said is wrong. That money, that bed tax money, it can also be used, as you're suggesting, and as we've said multiple times over the past few years, that can also be used on things that lessen the property tax levy, such as equipment for the Parks Department, equipment for the parks, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm not sure.
So
about
that money is not infinite, right?
No.
It's not infinite, and it can be spent on other things that property tax had previously paid for. So it's a little more complex than you're suggesting.
Oh, wait a minute. It will be, right? If we budget, let's see what to put in.
Well, since we already have $85,000 a year budgeted in our budget, I think we do use that too. But as you said, it's not unlimited, and we're going to hit a point, and once we use all that money, you're right, it's not going to be used for events. So when we keep adding it to the budget to pay for direct expenses, we'll no longer have that money to pay for tourism-based events, and
I understand. So right now, the parks payroll services, PS, is budgeted for $130,400. So let's say we take $30,000 out of that, which comes from the tax levy, and we put that in an events, and we apply bed tax money to pay that events thing. Okay, that's the difference. That reduces our tax levy by $30,000. Okay, this is how it's not. I'm not being simplistic. It's actually a pretty good way, which other towns haven't started to use. But Wilmington's in a very interesting situation, which is whenever Newcomb gets their $80,000, they put it into a reserve account because they don't need the money. All right, they just sit there and sit on it. Other towns, Wilmington could use help with its tax levy by applying it towards events operations. We could reimburse the fire department for its levy on events when they send out an EMS vehicle to go up like Face Mountain and check on everybody. That's the kind of stuff that we can start to use this for. Now, it's not forever. We could easily go to Golden Goose and not get much more, and then we'll have to rely on bed tax. But that's kind of the way it works. Let's do the roll call on this.
Yeah.
Favor, I don't disagree.
We're doing a roll call.
I've been saying that for 4 years.
But
I've been saying that since I've been on board.
What am I roll calling on?
it's a roll call.
It's coming from bed tax. That wasn't in the resolution, was it?
It's hard.
I don't think that was in the resolution.
It's in the resolution, right here.
Okay.
Favors said it.
Yeah.
Well, as a gesture of good faith, since the board has made progress to support the taxpayers, I vote yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura. Yes. Tina,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes.
carried.
Thank you. All right, Darren, anything else?
I'd like to make a couple more comments on what we just discussed about, but it'll be very quick. Those funds are exactly what they sound like, community enhancement funds. And this town board continues to use those funds to fund the town and fund town operations and day-to-day salaries of people that we already had money in the budget for. Those funds were never intended to fund day-to-day operations and salary. Those funds were supposed to be used for community enhancement style features, whether it be beach operations, park operations, sidewalks. Those funds, I understand it's gotten shifted from the county, and all of these other towns have spent that money in various ways. But those funds were originally supposed to be used for community enhancement. And we absolutely are spending a lot of those funds that we already are, I feel, on questionable items that are not community enhancement. When Roy was here or Randy was here, those funds were made to make community enhancements, like to the beach, like to Preston Field. They were used, falsely from what you said, Tim, to put the electric service in the park. So that did not come from the taxpayers' money either. That paid for the new service that went into the park. Louis helped with it, and I donated labor. So there was no direct cost to the taxpayers because they were out of community enhancement funds. And Louis, I believe his time was even charged back to the community enhancement funds. If not, regardless, it was Louis did it out of his budget, and it wasn't any additional cost. It's not like overtime or anything was charged to do these projects.
How about the materials?
They were paid, I just said that, they were paid for out of the community enhancement fund.
Right.
Because they enhanced the park area and allowed it to host events there, whether it be the bike fest or the music fest or all of these different things. That is a true community enhancement. That's something that directly impacts Wilmington and enhance that ball field.
I don't remember the board approving it.
Of course you don't.
You?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay.
I remember him
Well,
donating.
if I was wrong, I stand corrected. I can admit that I'm, don't remember
Correct me if I'm
everything.
wrong, but isn't the county working on making a list of things that's gonna be able to use?
No, they've already done a list. It's one of those things where it says, if you have a question, you can come talk to us, the chairman and the county manager, about whether your idea would be acceptable to the county.
So it's still gray.
Of course, it's great.
And we've also made resolutions in the past. Now I want to know how those are going to be affected, because we've made resolutions in the past for all overtime to be charged through for community enhancement. So does that still stand in effect? Because now we've made a new resolution to charge half of the money back. So again, this is a gray area because now we've created new resolutions to charge half of the town's funds to this grant, but we've also made resolutions in the past to charge our overtime.
Yeah, no,
But again, nobody seems to have any answers. All we do is pass laws because that's what we want to push through down people's throats.
Don't be personal. Don't make personal comments. Darren, what we're, whatever, if this is a comment about what I was talking about, I was saying that we would back it up with, time records for directly related.
No, it's not a direct comment towards you. It was
Okay.
We've made a resolution in the past
Okay.
that all overtime would be charged to that.
That's-
We all agreed to it. Now we've also made a resolution that half of all town labor is going to be used to that. So
What resolution was that?
we just did it a few minutes ago.
That we're charging the fundraising people for half the labor, that's what he said.
Plus the $100.
Or it's $100.
That just snuck in there.
Okay, Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't
But
hear that.
that was the resolution.
$100 fee.
No, it's $100 fee plus half of town labor. That was his resolution.
Oh, see, I didn't hear that.
He didn't sneak it in there. He said it clearly.
Oh, I didn't hear it over, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I did.
Huh?
I did.
I didn't hear it over here.
So I would like a
Can I just
resolution
say-
right now, while I still have the floor and it's still on my time, to revisit this motion that was just passed. Can I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, now that we're in discussion, to address the overtime, when I said that I'm bringing these things up that we've talked about and maybe even agreed on that never were accomplished, there's a list of things in that vein since I've been on the board, and one of those things is the overtime. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I am pretty sure that it was passed. Everyone, we were happy. I felt like I was making progress, and then it was never implemented.
Well, it's definitely a resolution, so again,
Right, but I
if
think
it's
it was-
been a resolution,
Can I finish?
well, I don't know if it's still my time, but go ahead.
Okay, can I finish? There was another thing, in the same vein, it was the facilities use, facilities lease use agreement. We passed it when Michelle was on the board. It was never, and then it was just forgotten about. So for the resolution I just made, the only addition is to add the $100 fee to the already existing form that we passed a few years ago that was then just forgotten about and never actually used.
So we have a motion and a second so far, what's the motion to do?
To revisit because,
To
Revisit the last,
To
clarify that motion.
To clarify that motion.
Tina, would you like to comment on that since you said you
So we're
didn't?
going back to the $100.
Yes.
Okay. I agree with the $100 usage fee. I want to know what the rest of what you said was. I heard the $100 and that's all I heard on that. I didn't hear the rest of that. I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
apologize.
I thought that you said, because I was saying that some of these events are so dependent on town labor to the point of, more than $2,000 worth of town labor. And if they have to kick in from the proceeds of the event to reimburse the town for some of the labor, that would encourage them to get more volunteers. So, and again, another huge part of this that really should not be overlooked is the list that John gave us of things that are just in disrepair and decline because our Parks Department is spending 300 hours a summer on events. Which again, I'm not against the events. Like that is incorrect to say that the town board's against the events. No one's against the events. I'm certainly in favor of the taxpayers and I'm in favor of the Parks Department accomplishing the things that they were able to accomplish before we started adding more and more events onto their shoulders every summer.
Thank you. So, so the motion to clarify is, what are your notes on the previous
okay,
resolution,
the
please?
previous resolution was $100 for facility use, for fundraising, and half of the town labor. So what we want now is just $100 and drop the town labor, or what are we doing here?
I think
Made the
Or are
motion.
we voiding out the entire?
he's making the motion to clarify, so let him.
Well, I want clarification for myself, because I feel like some of the town board did not even know what they voted for. So what exactly was the motion?
That's right. For events that have a fundraising, income generating, ticket admission component, 100 and or require town labor, $100 flat fee across the board. Plus, for those that do require town labor, the organization sponsoring the event to reimburse the town for half of the cost of that labor.
Okay, that's the clarified motion. So can we have let's see now.
Okay, so I'm doing the same motion over again?
I think,
Are we taking part of it out, or
no, I think we're gonna vote on it.
vote
it
on
again.
voiding out the motion?
No, we asked for
Clarification.
to bring back up that. So basically, there's going to be a revote now since that's what I wanted to
It has
say.
to be a revote, yeah.
Okay, so there's a motion
What are
to
we,
reconsider the previous resolution. So there's a motion by Darren. Is there a second?
Oh.
I'll second.
yeah, you did second it already, Favor.
Okay.
So we're just revisiting, we're not doing another resolution to vote on for any of the other stuff?
No, we had it clarified. And there was some confusion about the original motion. And so we're making a motion to reconsider that previous resolution.
Okay, so we're basically voting out the previous motion.
We're
We're
just-
voting on
There's
the.
We're-
Motion to reconsider.
We're re-voting on it.
We're
Yeah, I
revoting.
didn't hear the.
We're
part of
re-voting on it,
voting
okay, so
for
the other one
time.
will be kind of voted out. Tim,
We're voting on the original resolution.
Yep.
Just to make sure. I support it.
Darren,
No.
Laura? Yeah. Tina,
No. I'll go for the
Favor.
No,
fee, and not the time,
This voids
because
the
I'm already paying the
original
time.
resolution.
correct. Doesn't carry.
No, let's go for the
Not
fee.
carried.
All right, who's next? Laura?
I can't, I have nothing to say.
The Lucas thing.
No, it's
Okay.
not, what,
Okay.
I'm wasting my breath.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
So no report?
No,
Tina?
Now, I'd like to go back to his fee, for the permit fee, to do the fee of the $100 for the events. Because we did start that process, we did do the form, and I do agree with that.
Okay, so
I
you
just-
want to make a resolution that we just
Do
do
a fee.
$100.
But I don't agree with the time of paying back the half of the labor and all that, because we're already, the parks is doing what they're doing. I don't agree the event's paying back half of the time, not at this point right now. But I do agree that we can charge a fee.
Okay,
And I'd like to make that motion.
you're just making it, who's seconding it?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Well, we need to wait. I think
No,
it's gonna be a
no,
tie
but
vote.
we can start discussing this.
She's just in the bathroom, she can hear you anyway.
She's heard it. I think we've all said over the months, there's some things there's some things.
All right,
that I
no,
agree
there's
with.
no discussion.
No.
There's no discussion. We're waiting. It's a motion and a carry, it's gonna be discussion on the motion. That's a, Talk to
Everybody's here.
And there's some things you say I agree
Oh.
with, but, there's some things I completely disagree with, and
Oh, I feel the same way, Tim. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for your comment.
thank you very
like
much.
some things I think you say are not
Objection,
true.
please. We have a
I
motion
feel
and
the
a
same way.
second. The resolution is $100 fee to be charged to whomever, and some form will be adopted for that.
We have the form,
No,
we've
Okay,
just never
so-
implemented.
We had a first, we had a second, any discussion?
Just to clarify, we'll just use the form that we approved and was forgotten about.
That Michelle Preston approved and wrote up
Yes,
3 years ago. That's the form that we're going to use.
But there was something on that about lease.
no, I didn't like it, but that's all right.
right. And then we've had this conversation over the past year plus because, but the documents Favor gave us trying to revise it were quite similar to the document Michelle gave us.
Okay.
And
It was legal issue with the word lease being on it.
That's my objection, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not being a lawyer.
Okay, Tim,
we can strike the word lease and change it to use. That
that's
would,
what I was thinking.
Okay,
Whatever, good.
facility use agreement. Other than that, we'll keep the form as it is, I thought. We're still requiring proof insurance, and
that's from everybody.
We're not
Everybody uses
changing
it.
that.
Everything's the same. The only thing you're doing is you're charging somebody $100 to use it.
and changing the word
That's all it is.
lease to use.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Darren?
No.
Laura?
yes.
Tina?
Yes,
Favor?
Yes.
okay.
Carried.
The library is having the children's sign-up program for any children that want to sign up. They're working on their adult programs. So anybody looking to do any adult programs, they're looking for suggestions. And they are actually at this point looking to add some children program. They're looking to think about what they can add for the summer. And that's basically all I have right now. Everybody that thank everybody that helped with the whiskey run because it was a great turnout for that. It was a great day. Weather was perfect. Everything went well. I saved the parks some money. I took a tent down.
Thank you.
I saved some parks some money.
On behalf of the taxpayers.
Saved some man hour. That's all I had.
Thank you. My report is going to be quick. I've given everybody on the board a copy of the annex. The County of Essex has produced a 700-page hazard mitigation plan in 2025. We participated in it. We've answered as many questions, try to have as many things covered as we can. Tina, can you summarize what happens when we don't adopt one of these?
If we don't adopt that, if we go to get any FEMA funding, we won't get it. If we don't adopt do a
Right.
resolution on this, we won't get any FEMA funding. And also, if you go and apply for a grant, it's a lot harder to get a grant if you don't have this adopted. And if you do have this adopted and you go for a grant, you actually get points towards your grant by having this adopted.
Basically, I know this is, I got this yesterday afternoon. It's kind of short notice for a meeting like this. I do have a proposed resolution that they suggest that if we're going to adopt this hazard mitigation plan, that, we could do that. And the county hasn't adopted it yet. But everybody in the county is worried about July 11th because for each July 11th for the past couple of years, they've been wiped out by torrential rainstorms and lots of county roads and culverts and bridges have been destroyed. And so they're all the towns that have been really damaged by the July rain event are probably adopting them right now because they don't otherwise qualify for FEMA in case there's an event that happens between now and the next board meeting. So I do have a proposed thing if the town would like to go ahead with this, just to play it safe. We could do a resolution whereby we would adopt this hazard mitigation plan in accordance with the charters and bylaws of the town. And we would authorize responsible departments and agencies to execute their responsibilities under the plan.
Make it.
Dolores made it.
A second.
There's a second. Any further discussion?
Do you have any concern that some of the paragraphs are not true?
Well, true or accurate. We went through it and corrected as much as we could. I've not really gone through this as well now because I've got the thing. It looks like it covered the areas that I raised as a concern. We had to update the number of schools. We had to update the facilities. We had to identify risk areas. The risk area that they started to focus more on, of course, was we were going through this at the same time that California was burning down. And eventually one of these days we'll have a fire event and it's going to be quite huge. And the state doesn't really have any resources. We don't have enough resources to fight a huge fire event up here. So it'll be a bit of a challenge. But I'm sorry to say that these kinds of things, this is the final draft. We adopt it or else we don't get the FEMA entertainment in case something happens between now and going through it.
Can we just talk about the first paragraph, I guess, and the third? Are those?
No, I wasn't talking about the resolution. I amended it when I was reading it. This resolution here? Yeah, no, I wasn't, the resolution is that we're going to adopt the hazard mitigation plan update in accordance with our own law, and that we're authorizing a responsible departments and things. This is just, they sent this out. This applies to 15 states. I'm not adopting this resolution word for word. I didn't write it, and I don't care for it.
Got it.
Any other questions?
Good.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Are
Carried.
there any opposed? Okay.
Thank you. Well, since we're moving an hour and a half here, I'm not going to add any further to the report today. The next thing is the action items. I was hoping we would take a little time to go over the operating statement for Q1 and Q2 2025. We're halfway through the year. I think it's our duty as a board to make sure that we're more or less sticking with the budget, how we're doing, where areas may be, we need to keep a lookout for. As I said, the Parks Department generally, their contract expenses generally under budget for that kind of stuff. But right now we're on budget, but pretty soon we'll need to keep an eye on our budget and make changes as appropriate. Then the next thing is a resolution authorizing a budget amendment, increasing revenues and appropriations under 35101.1 dog control, personal services payroll. We need to increase that to 4,306 and reduce it under 35104.1 contract expenses 4306 from already budgeted funds. That's an amendment to our budget. We're simply moving out of the contract expenses into the payroll expenses. You'll see that the payroll expenses is running in the negative right now, but we'll make this transfer that will cover Trevor's payroll for the whole year.
Thank you.
Yeah, second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Favor,
Yes, thank you.
Carrie.
We received a request from Universal Pictures to use our town hall for interior and exterior scenes. I've not been invited to join this film crew, and I want the board to, they'll offer a location fee. I don't know if we have one. So
$100 a day.
we just passed one. But I left everyone a copy of this letter. Focus Features, I've watched many of their movies, they're good. So in any case, can we have a resolution to approve them so I can communicate with Dale?
We could have charged them $1,200 and covered it for the whole year.
That's right.
And now we get to charge them $100.
No, I don't know what we're doing, but in any case,
We're voting,
They're going to offer it.
offer a fee.
Yeah, they're not asking us to provide it. They're gonna offer it. So I'm sure they have a set fee that they.
Well, we'll see what it is. I'll have to get a hold of this fellow.
When are they gonna use it?
They're thinking in September and October.
Who's making the resolution?
They're starting construction on a temporary house on Hardy Road right now at the old Jake's place for filming a movie.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
One second.
we're just voting to
Allow me to get a hold of him and say it's okay.
use the town hall.
They have a town hall scene in it.
What do you think? What if it's a horror movie? We want
I
our
don't
town hall?
think it is, but
What type of movies do?
I'll bring some
do these
sage if it is, don't
people
worry
make?
about it.
I second it.
I just wondered, I'm
Motion second, can we vote on this?
slightly concerned if it portrays the town in a negative light.
It's
That's
not
all.
gonna have our identifier.
I don't know anything about Focus Features.
Right?
It's not gonna portray us in a negative.
I'll
light, I
ask
don't
them.
think.
Just let me get a hold of the guy and say
No,
we're
but I'm
interested
saying-
in, and these are the questions we have.
Yeah,
I can't imagine they're setting the
I think it'll be good
stage
for the
in
town.
Wilmington, New York. I can't imagine they're gonna say this is the Wilmington Town Hall.
No, I
Right.
don't know, it might have the name of whatever place it is.
Yeah, not Wilmington.
Okay, so are we,
Can get what
we don't
they
need a
said,
roll
take-
call vote
take
for
it.
that.
No,
We're
I
not
just,
spending money,
that's right.
so who's not for it? Is the easiest way.
Any, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. All right, so next thing is a funds audit budget transfers, the bill pay resolution of June 10th, 2025 to July 8th, 2025.
Actually, should you put that for the April 1st because that's what it stated?
April 1st. I'm amending that to April 1st.
Yeah. And I'll
Because
make
of
the motion.
one messed up check. Tina makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Aaron seconds. Any discussion?
This exorbitant bill was not in there.
No, we're fighting it. I'll share it with you guys.
You want to turn the AC back on?
We did.
All
We're
in
not paying it
favor?
right. Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maybe just open the door.
It's live.
You have to turn it.
I know how that works.
Okay, public comment, please.
A really quick one, I'm not trying to prolong this any longer. I'm particularly concerned about the impact of the UCI World Cup that's happening in October on Wilmington. I just want to make sure that's on everyone's radar. Again, I don't know that it needs to be discussed tonight. I'm just concerned about the number of people that are going to be here and, you know, what steps you guys might be taking about that.
I've been invited to go to the Monday meetings with the UCI organization people. I've been to them, and yeah, I mean, we're talking about Wilmington. My concern that I expressed to them is, look, they were really wrong with FISA. We did not get nearly the number of people that they were sitting there saying. So when they start saying 8,000 to 10,000 people, you know, it's like the boy who cried wolf. I'm kind of skeptical at first but at the same time, I think even 2,000 people is a big challenge for this town. And but Orta doesn't seem to, whether they're hosting the event or not, we're not asked. We think it's a good idea. Whether they're got their own events planned and shuttles, they're not. They're including us somewhat, but only just because they're going to let us know what they're going to do. So, so the key for so far, what I've been doing is, expressing our concerns about where their parking is going to be. People, if it's October, they're going to sit in the middle of the woods. I mean, where are they going to go? They had a Grateful Dead concert in the Olympic Center years ago, and all the guys who worked in the school building had to go wake them up because they were all asleep underneath the yellow pads at the Oval and stuff like that. So, you know, I had this sort of vision that we're going to have people sort of sitting there. At the same time, though, you know, it may only be, may not be that big a deal, but they seem to think it is, and
Well,
anything over 2,000 is getting me nervous.
from what I've heard is they've basically tried to, you kind of touched on it, not include Wilmington in any way, shape, or form. There's no events below Whiteface that are planned for the town of Wilmington whatsoever. So other than people passing through our town or using Wilmington as a bedroom community, because that's kind of what we're known as, there shouldn't be any huge impacts to Wilmington.
Yeah.
So I
So
think my biggest concerns are just obviously the parking during the event days
Right,
and
right.
then trail use. If they get even half the number they're expecting, the impact on the trails from people, you know, who are staying in Wilmington, trying to use trails to get over there. And again, the parking, I think, is probably one of the biggest concerns. So I was just curious if you guys were being included in that.
well, I have
You know, how you're
to
proactive about
thank Glenn from Beta because he was the one that insisted about being included in this meeting.
So,
Randy, you have his hand up.
Unless they've moved the mountain for that day or weekend or whatever, it still is in Wilmington, I believe.
That's right.
We keep telling them that, but they don't believe us.
Tim?
thanks. It's 3 days?
Yes. Well, the two big days are for us are Friday and
And
Saturday.
there will be training here Thursday as well.
Right, and he did say it's going to be the biggest event since the Olympics, but that's also that's exactly what they said about the FISU games, which was not the biggest event since the Olympics. But how many people are they expecting?
They're saying 10,000.
Okay,
I agree that that's probably an overestimate, but I think it's also super weather dependent. And even half of that, you know, Wilmington will struggle to accommodate.
how much parking is there at Whiteface?
Not enough.
Well, I know that, but how many thousand people can park at Whiteface?
I'm not sure.
That would.
The biggest ski days that I ever remember Whiteface, like during President Week, they would have like 4,000 people at the moment.
And they could accommodate that.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be
Well,
parking on 86 and things like that.
Well, and I know they're using a lot of streets to Whiteface for their own workforce parking as well, so it cuts down on guest parking.
Did that include Fox Farm too?
They were thinking about that. I'm also going back to, to the eclipse. Now, the center of Wilmington was really peaceful and beautiful during the eclipse, and it was all sort of at Whiteface. So they were talking about that corner Fox Farm for
Yep.
parking. I never got out there to see. So I don't know, but I just do know that the traffic when it left Whiteface and headed down Fox Farm, then took a right on Springfield, was quite busy, whereas we were lulled into thinking it was just a nice day up in the center of town because there weren't many people in the center of town.
Well, I believe they've already have plans for shuttles and stuff coming from Lake Placid
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
No,
or showgrounds.
so,
I did have one, go ahead.
Wasn't Aaron here, Aaron Kellett, to talk about, I thought he brought up that they were doing things at the town park related to this.
no, that was Colin. Colin wanted to float the idea that the Wilmington would sort of offer. And so we have a bunch of biking enthusiasts descending into our area. And if they're going to stay here, could we have a concert? Could we introduce them to Bay to have them take rides and things? That was mostly Colin,
Okay.
who talked about those kinds of things. Colin is a lover and well experienced with bikes and things like that. I don't know where the Visitors Bureau is now or when any of that stuff, but in any case, that's who it was.
Got it.
How would Wilmington prepare any more than they already do? Because what would you do? I mean, there's
Well-
only so many places you can park.
No, yeah, no, some people, were offering parking spaces during the eclipse. The DEC, with the whole discussion during the eclipse it was April, we have people heading into the woods during an terrible season of the year to be going out in the woods not prepared. The trails aren't very good and things like that. And Dean spent a lot more time worrying about talking to the DEC rangers to try to get them to,
Keep them off the trails.
to take a more active role.
So that's what you're pretty much talking about is
Yeah,
the trail
the
versus
DEC, the DEC would be supposedly, it's their jurisdiction. So that's the kind of stuff we'll hopefully continue to talk about at these weekly meetings.
I did have a letter that I wanted to share from a citizen that contacted me regarding this. It says, as a resident of Wilmington, I'm disheartened to see the marketing for events in our town be misrepresented. This has been an ongoing issue for years. However, we were making progress and I see it going backwards again. Here's just one example. I asked that the town board have a stronger stance with ORDA and their board to make it known Whiteface is in Wilmington. And then there's a Facebook post of Whiteface showing the downhill is coming. And then it says that riders descend upon, the world's best riders descend on Lake Placid.
Mhm.
So that was brought to my attention. I hadn't seen it, but I didn't know, I have no, I wouldn't even know where to go from there besides I commented on the post. But I don't know, I mean, I didn't realize you were being included in the meetings. Perhaps that could be brought forward, that,
Yep.
it is actually in
Since
Wilmington,
you
like
went
Randy
to the
said.
meeting, can you forward it to me?
I'll send you a
Minutes.
screenshot, yeah.
I know
Mm-hmm.
has, but I also know Roy has talked to Ruth, he's talked to Orda, he did all that, trying to get them, to change that, some of that to Wilmington and get it back, and he just got absolutely nowhere.
Well, unfortunately, this is a problem that goes on in all of these communities. Lake Placid hosts the event, so they're going to take the credit for the event because they're putting all the money in the event, they're planning the event. Orta's based out of Lake Placid. They want to market themselves, which is there, so they market it where the money is. This is not a new problem to Wilmington. It's been on for years, but this is a marketing problem that, again, it's kind of like an STR thing that's across the country. Disneyland or Disney World is not in Orlando, but everybody says Orlando. The last games that were in the United States, Salt Lake City Olympics, half the events weren't in Salt Lake City, but that's what they're known as. It's all because of the name and the marketing.
Like the KOA signs, we can't get rid of the signs because that's what things across the world.
Thank you. Any other comment? Yes, please.
When's Colin getting done? Is he done?
He's
done.
finished.
He's done now?
Yeah,
I made it sound like he's finished, like it's.
He's still alive.
I haven't seen him. I'm guessing it's.
One more question about
Sure.
that. We had this happen a year ago and then went to Flaming Leaves or whatever you call it. Is that gonna continue this year?
yes.
It's a festival, right?
The Festival of Colors.
Right.
Yes, they are working on it. They do have, last I knew, a couple weeks ago, they had like 25 vendors. They got their food trucks. They're planning their
Did all
cupcake
that last year and then
thing.
went-
But they are working on it, was the last word I heard. They said it was going to happen because this is the 20th anniversary.
Just one.
So that was the last report I had was yes, it was gonna happen. This is the 20th anniversary. Food trucks have been booked, vendors have been booked, so last report I had was yes.
They are relying heavily on their privately elected board for that organization.
They are. Yes.
But very good on cleaning up last year, same situation.
It was
So
closer to the,
they're working hard on trying to keep it all going and get going and, get it all moving forward.
I think last
They're all
year
working
was
hard
a
to do
lot,
it.
I think last year was a lot closer to the event. The resignation was, so that.
Yeah.
They didn't know which direction to go and then people taking over. It was overwhelming for them. I find that, I wish you guys would get along. One side of the table is with one side, one's on the other side with the other side. And we're high-fiving and we're ducking, we're giving people eyes. And we got one person that doesn't know which side to go on. And people are coming here, they're not coming here to watch the meeting, they're coming here to see the fight. And I really wish that they would leave that visitors bureau alone. They're just trying to help. Those people don't need to do that. They're just coming here because they want to help Wilmington. But I've never seen such fighting and hate. I can see it in the eyes. I can see the eyes rolling. We don't need that. We need to come together. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
I think that,
Okay.
I have previous town boards had more dramatic disagreements. I don't think there's any hate on this board, and the fact that we disagree has never been a secret. It wasn't a secret 4 years ago when I was running for the town board, and I think it's natural that was the result of people with different opinions getting elected. There have been boards that had a lot harder time of operating and behaving civilly.
I think what Mary is kind of referring to is Wilmington had a period of 12, maybe 15 years where there was a town board that could sit here and we could talk about something and it was done and over at that meeting and we moved forward in a positive direction. Where now it seems like we sit and discuss and then we fight and then we talk about it the next meeting and the next meeting. There's never any moving forward. It's constantly a discussion, and if somebody, doesn't matter what side, if there is sides, the vote goes towards, it's brought up the next meeting because somebody didn't agree with the way it was. And that's where the division comes in, because we sit here and we pass a resolution and say, this is the way it's going. Well, 3 months later, let's make a resolution. Let's discuss this again. And that's where the divide is always coming in, because nothing can just be left alone and move forward on to the next thing.
Thank you very much, everybody. A motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
I'll make it.
Second? I'll second it. I'll second it. Good about discussion. Thank you.
I could respond, Darren, but in the interest of community harmony, I won't. You can have the last word. You know?
Thank you, Tim.